Hi everybody, it's Jackie from Body Connection. I am scheduled to do a live video with Laura for Living Life Curvaceously is her handle, and she is struggling to. We're doing a live on facial hair and the hair journey, and she cannot get her Instagram to work on her end, so she wants me to go live. So that's why I'm standing here staring at the camera. So it's not that I don't know what to say or whatever, but I'm just waiting for Laura to connect with me. So if you wouldn't mind just bearing with me, and I see, okay. Can you hear me now, Laura?
Oh, I can hear you now. Hi.
I'm so proud of myself. Look what I just done.
Well done. You did it.
I did it. Yes. Like when you were contacting me earlier, I was thinking, like, I have no problem with the content of what we're talking about because it's a passion of mine. But the problem was I was afraid I was going to mess it up on you. How do I join? And I did it myself.
No, I've messed it up because apparently I'm blocked for being naughty on Instagram, which I was never told why. So Here we are.
So, long time since I was called naughty. There you go.
Yeah.
So will you continue then doing the interview, because really it was for your followers as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think if you can save it at the end, like some of my followers are coming in now because they would have gotten an alert to say Laura's gone live with Body Connection. But at the end of the live, you just have to remember to save it.
Okay. Okay.
The power is in your hands, Jackie.
Will a thing come up? See, I'm a Facebook nerd, I'm afraid. So Instagram is very new to me. So will a thing come up to tell me how to pay? Will it just say save, or?
Yeah, it should say save to profile or save for later or something like that.
Okay, yeah. No problem at all. No problem.
Because I did have a few people message me anyway to say, will it be recorded, because they can't join right now. So even if we don't get that many people on the actual live right now, we can record it and put it up anyway then for afterwards. So
and can you record it, Laura? Here we are. Can you record it? No, I have to save it. That's what we have to do. Okay. I hope I save it. Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. You lost me. I lost you for a second.
Okay. I've just tried to do a screen record, but I don't know if it'll pick up the sound. But we'll see. I'll let it record away there and see what happens.
Okay.
So I think we'll just get straight into it, and just and just get going on it, and then obviously people will come in and out, as you know, down the bottom, and just go from there. Is that all right?
Okay, that's perfect. Absolutely. Yeah,
I have all my questions here and I'm ready to go. So what I've done is I've kind of grouped the questions that the first two will compare electrolysis and laser, and then the remainder of the questions will just be about electrolysis and facial hair.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
So the first one, that's just for general information for everybody. So what is the difference between electrolysis and laser for facial hair?
Electrolysis can treat all hair growth, hair color, hair texture. Electrolysis is very multifunctional, whereas laser tends to be more suitable for hair that has pigment in it. So it's very difficult to treat a hair that doesn't have some form of pigment in it for laser. So it does restrict you quite a bit. Whereas with electrolysis, you have it is a slower treatment. It's a different technique, and it does take longer. But you have the option to treat all hair growth, all types of hair growth and color.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. And in terms of the facial hair, why would you choose electrolysis over laser?
I suppose the main reason you would choose electrolysis over laser is because if the hair wasn't suitable for laser, that would be the main reason. But Sometimes a client will have a combination of dark hair and blonde hair, and blonde hair can nearly be more obvious than the dark hair. It's a very, so you might be able to treat it with both, but that can get a little bit confusing. I suppose for the sake of what we're doing today, I think that if a client, the rule of thumb really is if a client's hair growth is say 80 to 85% dark, then our first priority would be to treat it with laser, because it's a faster result and you can treat a larger area. So you can get the hair growth to a point where maybe the hairs, because the hairs, when laser works, the hairs do become finer and less of them, obviously. But you'll always have those straggly ones. And the finer they get, the less pigment they have in them. And then the laser won't work anymore. So at some point, you will have to switch a little bit. You will have to switch to electrolysis to get rid of those last straggly hairs, if they're a problem for the client.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what happened to me, wasn't it? I had like a lot of blondes mixed in there with the dark ones, and
yes.
So this is where we are. This is when our love affair began. Okay, so the next questions are just about electrolysis, and the majority of my followers were interested in electrolysis for facial hair, so we'll just focus on that, and then if people have more questions about the rest of the body, we can do that another time.
Okay.
So, electrolysis, does it work on fair hair? You've kind of already answered, but...
Yes, it works on all hair growth. Yeah. Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you want to just maybe briefly just say what electrolysis does?
Sure.
How you do it, yeah.
Yeah, electrolysis is... it's a very fine, it's a probe with a very fine needle, and the needle is inserted into the hair follicle, and a current is released at the base of the follicle, and it kills the hair cell. Technically, it's designed to destroy the hair cell that makes the hair cells that make that hair grow. So each time you have a treatment done in that hair, it'll destroy some of the hairs, but some of the hair cells, but it's not going to destroy all of them at the one time. So electrolysis as a treatment is a very progressive treatment. So each time you have it done, you're making an impact on the hair cells. You're weakening the hair, you're weakening the hair, you're weakening the hair. But you don't just have one treatment done and that's it. So as you know yourself, Laura, when you started with me, it's not only about doing the treatment, the physical action of the treatment. You put the needle in the hair follicle, you release the current, you remove the hair. It's also about managing the journey for the client. So managing her sessions, because a lot of time a client might feel, oh, they had a session done and they only have a few and they don't really need to have another one done for a little while. But that's not exactly how it should work. It should work where the sessions are close together. Each time, the more often you get the hair, the better chance you have of weakening the hair each time. So that's the best option, keeping your sessions close together at the very early stages of your hair removal journey.
Yeah, killing them slowly but surely.
Surely.
So the next question is, can you have electrolysis done with a tan? So most people will be aware that you're not to have laser on tan skin, but what about electrolysis? Yes,
absolutely. You can have electrolysis done with a tan, absolutely. Because you're not doing anything on the surface of the skin. You're inserting the needle into the hair follicle deeper in the skin. However, we would have to be a little bit careful if the client gets off a flight on Thursday afternoon and comes in on Thursday night, because there might still be a residual heat in the underlying tissues in the skin. So you just wouldn't want to be doing it too soon after someone, if they've been away. But as regards a false tan or anything like that, yeah, there's no issue. There's no issue at all.
Yeah. You've often seen me with the remembrance of tan on my face. So the next question is, do you have to shave before or in between?
No. I know that I'm supposed to keep my answer short.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know, I'm holding on to the chair here, right?
You love to tell.
Well, not short, but I do ramble on. Electrolysis it's a passion, obviously, of mine, and it is such a complex treatment. Facial hair is such a complex problem. And the removal of facial hair is such a complex treatment. So, what was the question again, Laura?
Do you shave before or in
Oh,
between?
yeah. No, I wouldn't. The minute the client comes into me, this is my approach now. I'm not saying you can't do it. Shaving is always a negative as far as I'm concerned, because you are shaving hairs on the face that don't need to be shaved, that, you know, were never a problem in the first place, because you can't just shave the 3 hairs that bothered you or the 10 hairs that bothered you. You're shaving a full surface area. So when a client starts in her electrolysis treatment with me, I make sure that I do a lot at the very beginning, so that the client, when she leaves, she has no hairs for, say, 7 days, and then she comes in just as they're growing again. But like I said, it's incredibly complex, but shaving is, from my point of view, I don't even allow clients to shave when they have an IPL or laser done. I just don't. I think putting a razor near your face is the worst thing you can do.
And I learned that the hard way, going for laser and getting like a man's razor to my skin, and it made things 10 times worse, stimulated all that growth. Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't always happen in the moment. These things can take years to develop. And what happened, like if you're like a quick fix 10 years ago, is a 2 or 3 year problem to solve down the road. So I think shaving the face is an absolute, as I always say to my clients, from the neck down, you do what you like. But from here up, it's mine. And yeah, it's just plucking as well is another huge problem. I'm sure that's a question that's going to come up. But shaving is an absolute no-no. It is not a solution. At all. It's not a solution, and it creates more of a problem in the long term. Yeah.
And I think as well, well, for me anyway, I always liked to let it go until I saw you, so you can actually see the progress as well. So you can see what hair is still there and where you're at and all that. So
yes.
Put down the razors, ladies. Put down the razors. So the next one was, how many sessions would you need, and for how long do the sessions go?
Again, incredibly complex, because everybody's hair growth is different. Some people come into me, like I would look after clients that have a real serious issue, like females that would have a beard or would be shaving twice a day, or we go from that to somebody who's coming in and they're just like, they've noticed a few hairs maybe on the chin, and they've learned not to pluck it, they've learned not to do anything with it, and they just say, I just want you to do something, I don't want to get it make it any worse. So traditionally, if, say, a client came in and she had a real, say, if I take you as an example, Laura, probably, so you didn't realize you had maybe as many as you thought you had until we started. And it's important, and this is it's important for us to let the client see that it's not just about the 5 hairs she might be conscious of or what she feels. It's about you have to treat the whole problem. Otherwise, it'll always be there. Traditionally, in your case, you came in initially to me once a week for 30 minutes, probably 40 minutes I was working on you. And when you're an experienced electrologist, you can work really fast and you can get a lot done. And now, after, I don't know how many months we were doing that for, then eventually you came in for your weekly session, and I say, you know what, we might get 2 weeks out of this or 10 days out of this. And then it gradually, as the hairs start to get weaker and finer, and a lot of them do respond permanently to the treatment, but then it phases out. So now it's every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks where you're coming in, and we're still doing the half an hour, but your sessions are further apart, which means that when you come in, your half an hour is treating everything that's there. Whereas previously, it took us every week to treat what was there. And that's how you know where the progress is happening. But probably to go back and answer maybe the question, traditionally the sessions are 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour sessions. So that very much depends on how much hair needs to be removed in the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And when we originally recorded this, the videos that never went live, we spoke a lot about the journey and the consultation with your salon and how important that is, and that communication. And, you know, you've said it to me a lot, you know, if you think you don't need a session, you still need to come for your appointments, because what you see and what I see is very different. So yeah, the importance of keeping up your appointments and listening to your specialist in this and taking their advice and their guidance. Yeah,
absolutely.
Is it expensive?
Yeah, it's supposed it varies from sun. I'm not sure. But I can tell you what I charge. But I think it's pretty standard. For 15 minutes, it's €42. It can be 35, between 35. I charge 42, and then for 20 minutes it's €50. For 30 minutes it's €75. I don't know. 70 euro. Yeah.
And I think it is pretty standard. I mean, I told you that my cousin has started her journey, and she's going to somewhere that's close to her home, and it's pretty standard. I suppose the expense part of it would be that it's a weekly commitment at the beginning, so you're spending that every week, whereas say with laser and stuff, you know, the big salons out there do the packages, and it's different with electrolysis, that you're paying for the minutes because it's so like individual hairs. It's a
very, very specialized treatment. And it's actually, would you believe, electrolysis is the only FDA approved permanent method of hair removal. They're like, even with laser, we do laser here, but even with laser, it's 80% hair reduction they guarantee, but they don't guarantee hair gone forever. Like, it's because there's always going to be hair. But with the electrolysis, it's FDA approved to be the only permanent method of hair removal, which is very interesting. It's slow, but